as we continue on here for a fresh little series here, it is going to be a TVZ starting off on Death Aura. We're in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, starting all the way in the bottom right-hand corner of the map. We have the blue Zerg player coming down from South Korea. He is going to be representing himself as he is currently teamless. We have the one true Dong. We have DongRaeGu.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Death Aura LE, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Team NV. It is Bunny.
All right.
We have Zergs in this tournament.
Yeah, we have a lot of Zerg players.
Do we? Because we've been avoiding all of them. We finally are able to cast a Zerg here tonight. Potentially the only Zerg as well, depending on how this series goes and who gets knocked down to face the winner of this series. But yeah, we shall see. We have a bit of a ZvT before us.
Indeed, we do. And we'll see how this is going to be playing out. DRG, once again, when I think of DRG, I think of him for things like his muted control, especially in ZvT, but I feel like in recent months has been taking a little bit of a hit as more and more players are starting to figure out his style.
Yeah, I feel like there was a period in time, there was a couple of months in 2020 where DongRaeGu was looking really good at the start of the year. But, very quickly everyone else has more or less so been able to catch up. And yeah, when it comes to the Korean Zerg players, he is still considered to be kind of mid-tier compared to players like Solar and Dark, Solar, Dark, and Rogue. But yeah, he is here looking to prove, that that view wrong and try and qualify here for DreamHack.
It's his last chance.
It's everyone's last chance.
Whoa! Out of it that way.
Oh my god, yeah, this is it. Of course, there are a couple of players who don't necessarily have to worry about their EBT rankings because of how well they've been doing in GSL. So regardless, it isn't the biggest of deals. Some people were pointing it out that TY qualifies for DreamHack last chance. He's accumulated so many points from GSL.
Yeah, it was like the second or the first player to have secured a seed once he won GSL Code S.
Oh yeah. It matters so much more for players like DongRaeGu and like Bunny.
I nod my head. I'm trying to go off of memory here to say, yes, they are at this standing, but yeah, that's not a good idea. Don't trust memory, viewers.
Yeah, if people want to quickly check the EPT rankings, that'll help out as well. Who does this really... I know there was an article right on TL kind of explaining where, how far players need to rank in this last chance qualifier or in this last chance event to make it to IEM Katowice.
Yeah, they sort of covered all the possibilities, and they came up with the, who is likely to pull off a miracle and qualify in their last chance. We had a little bit of wild cards since that article, but not really enough to really affect the predictions.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, again, we'll see if someone makes a crazy run like Nice. To kind of take out some of these top tier Zerg players. That's insane. Now I want to see how he does against some of the European Zergs, like Cyril, like Raynor.
Man, I wish. I was gonna say, did we get that look recently? But I don't think we did.
Yeah. So it's possible we may see that later on. Meanwhile, we do see this 1-1-1 opener coming out from Bunny. I believe he got his third CC before the starport. I believe he went for that build.
Yeah, just finishing up that starport, but the third CC has been ready for a while now. Is going fairly Hellion heavy, but not really going to be following that up with a starport unit anytime soon. Just really would rather use it for his medevacs. That is Bunny for you in a nutshell.
Yeah, definitely. Meanwhile, he has a decent amount of Hellions, and oh my god, is he going to dive into the natural? Okay.
He's trying to, but DRG does flank with these Lings. Look at him pinning them to the corner like that.
Beautifully done by DRG. Again, there was a pretty scary amount of Hellions there, and Bunny, he so desperately wanted to get into that natural base, but DongRaeGu, he did not allow that whatsoever with that wall of Lings.
And that's a lot of dead Hellions that got not a lot of damage done. 5 dead Hellions for 7 Lings.
Yeah, they really didn't get much done whatsoever. So DongRaeGu now he's free to kind of focus on his tech. We do see double Evos being thrown down. He's working on his upgrades, working on his Baneling Nest, and as you said, I imagine he's going to be going Ling Bane Muta. That's more of what he's known for. We'll see if he decides to switch things up and go Hydras instead.
Well, for now, dedicating to the double upgrades, I'm just going to be throwing this out here, like, it's not popular as it once was. But Lingbane into Hive, it's a possibility.
Yo, if we were casting Dark, sure, you know. maybe Sue. I do recall Sue doing that a couple of times as well, but yeah, it's so risky to it's so risky to pull off. DongRaeGu, is he one to do so? We'll see what kind of tech structure he throws down after the lair is complete.
He's sending a macro hatch. He wants a lot of larva. What uses a lot of larva, like?
Yo, Ling Bane.
Okay, there's
there's the Spire. So he is going for Ling Bane Muta. This is more of what he's comfortable with, more of what we know DongRaeGu for. And we'll see how he does here against this bio style coming out here from Bunny. I almost said Dream.
Yeah. Well, hard to blame you there, really.
Yeah. That's in the chat for Dream.
Indeed. So we're getting back to that. We're getting back to the sort of phase of TVZ that we're used to. Both players just trying to establish map control, but neither of them really securing it.
Yeah. Nice scan by Bunny. He does spot the Spire, so he's aware that his opponent is going for Mutalisk, so he should be able to prepare himself, whether it's with missile turrets or, you know, just units in his mineral lines.
Yeah, and switching up here, not going for tanks. Gonna be going instead into Widow Mines.
And again, that kind of...
Yeah, will we see any Widow Mine drops coming up from Bunny that we've seen a lot from players like Time and Dream in this map?
That's the thing, right? Like Bunny, I don't necessarily know if we can say that he has a different style compared to Dream and Time. Like obviously they are very more drop heavy, but so is Bunny as well. I don't really know if he's one to go for that mass Widow Mine style.
I would say Bunny is drop heavy as well, but not necessarily as aggressive. Bunny is a lot more of the type who just prefers to get incremental damage as time goes on, rather than someone like Dream or Time who, when he drops in one area, he's coming in with his main army and another one.
Yeah, exactly. And they do like go for these other timing attacks as well to try and even catch their opponent off guard. DongRaeGu already finding a tank.
Yeah, decent damage being done there. But the main thing he has to worry about are these Widow Mines. Nice split in the Lings there. Maybe a couple for it as a bit of a vanguard. I like that he kept the Hellions alive, and now he's using them as Hellbats, trying to make sure that if DRG does get the surround, it's going to be a lot more painful for these Lings.
Yeah, definitely. What I'm concerned about is, oh my god, where are the Banelings? There they are. They finally show up, but the Widow Mine, they do get taken out before the shots go off.
Yeah, but a lot of Banelings were taken out over there. It is really hard for Bunny to micro in this position, though. I was going to say that there's not too many Banelings left. You can try to sort of snipe them. Not quite. But even still, DRG very far off a creep.
Yeah.
Now it's just the Ling Muta to deal with.
Exactly, like those were the last remaining Banelings for DongRaeGu. So as soon as they do pop off, then DRG is forced to remake some Banelings, and that does allow Bunny to reestablish himself. We do see a couple of Thors being mixed in as well.
Yeah, when he really needs to have, you know, a bit more reliable anti-air splash. And DRG once again trying to come into the surround, but doesn't quite have enough units to do so. But doing a fantastic job of kiting. Beautiful Widow Mine connections. And obviously DRG is trying to get as many Banelings as he can out. Barely gets them out in time.
Yeah, exactly. Like, sure, there are Banelings, but for the most part, they're crashing into Marauders instead, and it looks like Bunny, he does have enough to hold.
Indeed, he does. Concaving the rest of the army with the Marines that are left. DRG trying to pull Bunny on a bit of wild goose chase here with these mutas.
Yeah, and
to an extent, but
to an extent, we do see that DongRaeGu was trying to go for a bit of a run by as well. I'm just a little bit concerned because finally I was waiting for it. Like, where was the infestation bit? Like, there was no infestation bit, no hive whatsoever for DRG. It did kind of look like he was kind of all in, like he was trying to force the end of the game without heading into hive, without going into 3-3.
now he's look. I gotta put a bit of a star in this game and say he hasn't really utilized the mutas. I'm counting it as a Lingbane into hive.
Sure, exactly. Like, he hasn't been able to harass whatsoever with those mutalists. He's just been focusing on these like main army engagements, and as a result, he has fallen way far behind in terms of those upgrades. 3-3 is about to finish up. Hive is only just starting for DRG.
And Bunny's been able to establish a bit of a foothold here. DongRaeGu now fighting on top of the creep. Banelings crash right into heart of those Marines. And the mutas are here to clean out the remnants. But meanwhile, we have another drop coming up to the north. DRG getting completely pulled apart. There's only one mind of this army. These Marines are looking a little bit exposed.
Yeah, just a bit, but you know what? There aren't that many. There isn't that much on the ground to really follow up here. There are a couple more Banelings looking to rush forward, and it looks like there is enough to push away Bunny.
Just barely. Banelings continue to try to hit on top of these Marines. Not quite able to get it, but it will rotate and try to get this fifth base of Bunny.
Yeah, they do hit the fifth. Meanwhile, at the same time, massive Ling run by in the third or the fourth of Bunny. The wall was down.
And now it's up, trapping these Lings.
Yeah, I think what's important is that Bunny, he did lose 13 SCVs, but he kept all of his bases. Like, this planetary is going to finish up. Meanwhile, another planetary over on the west as well. Like, these, and once they do establish themselves, it's going to be so harder for these run-bys to really deal some damage.
Indeed, it will. Still can get a lot done with the mutas, but yeah, we'll see how that really goes for him.
Yeah,
well, it's going pretty well.
Yeah, there's still plenty of reinforcements here for Bunny, able to push DRG away. Like, he is denying a lot of mining, but again, like, now that the army is here, Bunny should be able to establish himself. There we go. We have a couple of missile turrets being thrown down.
Yeah, missile turret and a sensor tower, whatever he can to keep his eyes on DRG and deal with the mutalists. Because right now, but DRG is doing exactly what he wants to do with them. He wants to just completely lead on Bunny's army, make sure that he can't get the harass that Bunny wants to get.
And there were no missile turrets here in the main base, only in the mineral lines, and as a result, he loses his factory.
Just like so, DRG really turning this around.
Oh my god, picks up a couple missile turrets, now goes down to the to the base on the low ground, able to take out more and more SCVs.
It's taken a while here, Light, but finally we have a apocalypse. Okay, now more of a nuisance of mutas, and it is getting a lot of harassment and economic damage done.
There we go, and I was waiting for it. So for the longest time, like, everyone's attention was on these mutas, but finally, DRG, he is going for this massive run by. There are so many Baileys here, enough to just take out this planetary.
Just like so. Doesn't even need to use too many of them, as the damage on the Lings were more than enough. That said, it's still a pretty scary army that Bunny's got right now. DRG, if he wants to fight, he needs to be in the absolute best position possible, deep in the creep, and you know, being able to get as many surrounds as he can.
Yeah, to be fair, DRG, he has been able to buy a lot of time. The high finished up finally 3-3 for everything, should be finishing up quite soon as well. And once that kicks in, then he can finally really go toe-to-toe with the main army of Bunny.
Yeah, just needs to buy himself some time. I love the incorporation of Spycrawler here. Just keeps Bunny back for a couple of seconds.
Yeah, whatever he needs.
Yeah, ooh, not the most efficient Baneling hits in the world. And the Widow Mines do manage to crash on in, but DRG has a massive bank. Not too good on the gas, to be fair.
Yeah, luckily he has kept the majority of his mutas alive, and he's just remaxing with nothing but Lings to reinforce his army. He does end up losing the hatchery, but again, he has been expanding to the north instead.
He has. Both players are going to be on even basis shortly. You know, 3-3 has finished up here for DongRaeGu.
There we go, and again, tech a little bit delayed for DRG. Like, we finally have the Ultra's Cavern being thrown down by the time 3-3 finishes up. So again, it could have been done for quite some time. He's just going to be relying on Lingbane Muta.
Mostly the Lingbane, but now Bane's starting to crash in. Bunny with the splits! But he's running out of room to split over here.
Exactly, the splits are not enough. Everything goes down, and in the end, the only thing remaining are these mutas. Now they're going to be going across the map. Sure, there are missile turrets, but there are enough mutas to really go toe-to-toe with them, instead opting to go for one of these CCs.
Just like so. Barely, oh, I was going to say barely dodging the mine, but not even. Still, though.
Yeah, and unfortunately, this isn't a planetary, it is an orbital here to the north, so it's not going to be able to land. There's still plenty of Lings here to stop that base from mining. Meanwhile, interestingly, Bunny, he is rotating to the south, trying to force DRG to respond to him and give him a little bit of room to actually land and then start mining.
Just like so. Alright, DRG is aware of this army, trying to just take it out, so he can, as you said, continue to apply pressure in that northern base. Actually, he never stopped doing that. Did take out the base, and now Bunny is looking to be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, like, he's done a good job at denying this space to the bottom left, but he hasn't really been able to apply much pressure here to the north, and that's really what matters, especially for DRG's, you know, economy. And here we go, Bunny is finally moving in.
There are only mutas over here. That is a massive ball of Marines, so is that, and the Banelings crash into them. DRG not going to be, you know, overextending too much. Not sure if he knows about the mines, but it's good that he didn't go into the mines.
Yeah, Bunny, he did lose quite a lot of the engagement to the south. Now here to the north, DRG, he can just focus everything here. He's got plenty of Lingbane Muta, and now finally the Ultras are coming out.
That just about rounds out the army here for DRG. He's got to be... That's a lot of Widow Mines!
Jesus Christ, the Widowmine connections were on point, targeting the majority of those Banelings, and now it's a good opportunity for Bunny to really take advantage of the fact of that low Lingbane count.
Yeah, he definitely try to, but DRG just moving in and moving away, taking out another base with him. And Bunny's trying to land his main. That's how desperate he is right now for minerals.
He is so desperate, and we'll see if he's going to be able to make something happen here. The problem is that sure, a lot of Lingbane went down, but that gets replaced by the Ultralisks.
It does. Sure, Ultras need a buffer, but that's kind of what the Lings are for. They're starting to just swipe away. Who wants some hugs? DRG not winning this engagement whatsoever.
Yeah, definitely. You could argue that he has too much supply in the mutas, and they're not even here. They went across the map and they decided to turn around, and they have such little health, they're all going to go down.
Wow, Bunny taking back this game.
Yeah, exactly. So often people say Ultras, like, mate, they're so expensive, and without any Lings, they just pop, they just go down instantaneously, and that's exactly what we're seeing.
GG. Bunny taking game number 1 of this best of 3 series. In what was one of the most back and forth TVZs I think I've seen in a while. DRG had 600 APM by the end there.
Oh my god, 625 APM for DRG, but it wasn't enough at all. I mean, you pointed it out, like, he went Lingbane Muta, but like, his mutas, they really only had one moment where they really shone, like when they went into the main base and they sniped the factory, but that was it. Like, they weren't necessarily like harassing in these mineral lines, forcing Bunny back and allowing DRG to really like creep up the map and like take his half.
Yeah, it definitely felt like DRG, because Demeter's got scouted really early on, right? And Bunny was taking that seriously, getting the missile turrets, switching the wines, eventually even went to Thor's. So DRG, he just was not comfortable pushing in or harassing any of Bunny's mineral lines. But by the end, when he did get that mass muta, when he was up something like 30 mutas, where he can start to contest a couple of turrets at a time, I feel like he was really utilizing them more for the main army, right? Just to make sure he could get the slight upper hand in these engagements. But by then, it was a little too late.
Yeah, you could
His economy already went out of hand.
You could also argue that when it comes to DongRaeGu's army composition, it was a bit mismanaged. Typically, you want to go either for like mass muta and you just keep making mutas throughout the game, and like that's kind of what you rely on, or you eventually wean off of them and then like go into corruptors as well, right? And like you mainly focus on your ground army instead. It was kind of like mixed in between, like stuck in between that.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that goes for him, as here we have in the bottom right hand corner map, starting all the way in the bottom right hand corner of Romanticide LE. LE, of course, standing for Lovers Esports. Lovers Esports. That's the team to compete with GGG. Oh, here in the bottom right hand corner, we have the Blues player coming out for South Korea. Going to be representing himself, as he's currently teamless, as well as his hometown of Busan. We have DongRaeGu.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Romanticide LE, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Team NV. It is Bunny. Yeah, he really wants that gas.
Have you practiced against Bunny lately?
I have not practiced.
Been stealing his gas? So he is mining from that gas, though, so yeah, you're right. He does. He has something planned.
I've actually been teaching my ways to to some of the other Korean Zerg players, and specifically me and Mike has been laddering on Asia recently, so yeah.
That's what it was. No, but yeah, Bunny is going to make use of it.
Oh yeah, definitely. So we'll see what happens here. Again, Bunny does have a bit of room to experiment a little bit here in game number 2. He already does have that 1-0 advantage.
Yeah, and especially on a map like Romanticide, I mean, if this opening kind of flops, he does have a little bit of, he does have something to fall back on, right? That being the layout of the map. So I'm just super curious as to what, honestly. Okay, no second rags being thrown out yet, so it's still a 1-1-1.
Yeah, 1-1-1, still one base. I think that's what's important to note here. There is still no expansion, mate. He is one basing this up. This is why he wanted all of that gas early on.
Show me the armory, buddy.
Oh boy. I mean, that makes sense, right? Like, he's just making nothing but Hellions to go for a big Hellbat timing.
Watch it be mines. No, it's continuing to be Hellions. It's like, there's gonna be no detection from DRG. He's gonna go mass mine drop. It's gonna kill him.
What's crazy is that DRG hasn't scouted yet. Like, he hasn't even checked and confirmed whether there's a natural with his Overlord. He has no idea what's happening. So he's just treating this like normal. Like, he's just droning up. He's taking his third base, everything like a regular standard ZvT. Little does he know that, again, still one base.
And on this day, Bunny will say to DongRaeGu, be sure to scout me next time.
Yeah, like Bunny's even trying to deny that. He has this Marine that was trying to shoo away that Overlord. But here we go. It looks like the medevac is out. So the armory is about to complete. And only now, still DRG doesn't know. He hasn't, like, he's not even in vision of the minerals to see if, like, they're mining.
And it would be a completely different story if this was a Numanized Carapace Overlord, wouldn't it? But, yeah, even then, DongRaeGu still having a slow Overlord, like floating its way.
Like, this is his army.
Into the main base.
He is going in. Yeah, like, he does see the 3-3. Oh my god. Okay, the boys are being
even
pulled.
Pulling the boys. Here we go, Bunny. He just does not want to play on this map.
Okay, and now immediately DRG is responding to what he has seen. He saw all the boys being pulled. Now he is aware, but what does he do? He's making as many links as he can. He's making as many spines as he can. He knows that he just has to survive, and then he wins.
And it's looking pretty likely that, just based on this composition, DRG should not have too much difficulty surviving.
We'll see. I mean, he's going to be pulling his boys as well, right? There's no reason not to.
Yeah, he's going to have to. All of the spines were given some time to build up, though. So we should see the Spy Force coming down. A lot of queens over here. Nice micro coming down from Bunny. But now I fear there's just too much DPS out.
Wow. And just like that. Okay, so the spawning pool does go down. There was a drop in the main base as well. All the drones are stuck in the natural. But is this really enough to break his opponent because of all this stack defense? Oh.
Maybe, actually. DRG sacking a couple of the spy crawlers over here. More Hellions being moved across the map. Once again, Bunny has absolutely no mining. He cannot build any more units. Why did he pull the boys?
I mean, he's all in, mate. This is it. Like, he's looking to end the game right here, right now. And he has dealt some damage, to be fair. And that would have been a nice opportunity to dive on top of these spines. But the spines have finished up. The Banelings are done.
And they're going to connect with the Marines.
Oh.
I guess Bunny just doesn't like romanticize.
It's possible. I mean, he's dropping as best he can, but now Bunny, he's down in army supply. And like that's not what you want to be when you're all in. Sure, there's like one queen here. Oh my god, the medevac. Okay.
The medevac does live. Okay, and a couple of these Hellbats do land on the mineral line over here. But unfortunately, only able to take out one drone. With that, Bunny did send his SCVs back to mining. Is it going to be too late though?
I mean, we'll find out. Like, to be fair, the mining of DRG has been disrupted a lot, but mate, he's still up 20 workers.
He is. And he's on 3 bases still.
And he's, yeah, I mean, he's taking his third, to be fair. Like, he's only on 2 base economy, but Bunny's still trying to make his natural. Like, oh god.
Huh.
It's one of those things where, like, it got scouted at the last second and it still didn't work. So it's like, Bunny, does this ever work? Like, that's what I've never seen anyone do this, to be honest. Like, especially like a Korean player. And for him to whip this out, like, very, very ballsy doing it here against DongRaeGu. And we see why this is something that we don't often see.
Yeah, I feel like normally when you pull a voice like that, it's not when you're going for Hellbats, right? It's for when you're going for something like, you know, quick concussive shell marauders or what have you. Because really, what are the SCVs going to be buffering for? You want the Lings to dive on top of the Hellbat so that you melt them.
Yeah, yeah.
But switching things up a little bit, but he's still not forfeiting this game, so he went all in, but now he's changed his mind?
Yeah, it's just... Oh my god. We'll see how much damage this can get done. Maybe.
Well, there was an armory, so...
True.
Oh my god, that's actually a lot.
11 drones. And, like, these are gonna reset. Like, the lair is still on the way. There's no spore. There's no spore done whatsoever.
And he's actually going to be lifting the mines and getting them out of there. Putting them in another cheeky location.
Yeah, this time
there is detection here with a spore.
Yeah, there is a spore this time, and it looks... Oh!
This one's on the high ground.
The Lings!
It's going to reset, but what does it target? What does it target? It targets the... Oh, that was such a quick split.
Oh, God. Okay, so Bunny, he is, you know, clawing his way back into this. He's down 17 workers instead of 20.
It's something.
Oh, god.
I mean, I tell you what, like, mules.
Mules are pretty good. Are mules better than like your opponent being up 2 bases though?
Mules?
Oh boy.
I choose not to elaborate. Alright, but Bunny is still trying to get back in on this, trying to quickly grab that 3rd base. You know, we do see DRG is getting up to 4 bases though.
Yeah, like, if Bunny is able to make these drops, like, you know, do even more damage, kill an entire mineral line, keep DRG busy at home, then sure, you can get back into this. But DRG, he's across the map. Like, he's not allowing Bunny to expand and take his 3rd. As a result, like, yeah, he's not really, he's struggling to get back into this.
That he is. And, I mean, this Ling run by, that's just going to be the final nail in the coffin, isn't it?
Oh yeah, the tank goes down. Oh, everything here is going to go down. There is a drop, you know, it's a pretty big drop. It's a big boy drop, but
I mean, it's one tank and a couple of Hellbats.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, this is more than enough. But Bunny, he's got this.
This is way too overkill, man.
Oh, God.
Like, look at that. Links get melted by the Hellbats. I was Hellfire.
There you go. And it looks like the tank goes down, everything else.
GG is called. DongRaeGu gonna be evening out in a series, or should I say Buddy gonna be evening out in a series. Sideways 1-1. That was a weird game that we saw on Romanticide, but you know what? I liked it. Okay, and I got a question for you here. Like, do we want to continue on to the ace match here, or do we want to go into TY Rogue?
It seems like TY is already in game.
Oh well.
Yeah.
I hope somebody was covering that.
He's either in game or in lobby. To be fair, but yeah, I also hope that someone is covering that. Someone's following their series.
Not along here.
Potentially Wardy. Zombie Garb is out of game, but Wardy is in game, so he may have that.
I'll check that real quick. See, Renegade X still following Maru Trap. It seems like Trap is up 2-0 so far.
Maru Trap is still going on? Oh my god.
Apparently. Oh, Wardy's in this lobby now.
Oh, is he? Fair enough.
All right, we'll figure something out after this series, which is going to be ending now, as we now go on to what I'm thinking of here, like Pillars of Gold, LE, holding up the rest of the map pool, also LE. Here in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner, the blue Zerg player coming down from South Korea. We have, representing himself, DongRaeGu.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Pillars of Gold, LE, we have the South Korean Terran player, the red Terran, representing Team Envy. It is Bunny.
The ace match.
Yeah,
surprisingly.
Yeah, Bunny was able to take game number 1 and decided his fate in game number 2. So we'll see what he does in game 3. This time he's not doing anything crazy. He's still got 1 gas. He didn't rush a second gas like he did in the previous game, so we should see something a little bit more standard.
Yeah, we should see DRG stealing that gas now that it's available.
It's exactly what we should be seeing. And yeah, again, I'm very surprised that Bunny decided to do that on a map like Romanticide. For whatever reason, maybe he didn't want to play on that map. Maybe there was something specifically against DRG that he wanted to avoid as well, depending on what DRG does on a map like Romanticide. So yeah, he avoided that, and now everything is going to come to fruition here on Pillars of Gold in our ace match.
Which, funnily enough, may just end up being our most standard game of this current series. Just, you know, based on the map that we're on and looking at how our opponents are going so far, anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Like, to be fair, like game number 1 was also fairly standard, but a map like Pillars of Gold, it is a little bit more spread out. We could be, you know, in another longer macro game, just like we were previously.
Yeah, I feel like when it comes to TVZ, Pillars of Gold, you either get very short games that end in a timing attack, or very long split map scenarios. You don't really have much of a middle ground on Pillars.
Yeah. We'll see which one we land in. You know, we'll see what DRG decides to whip out as well. Like, you know, you can go for some like big roach timings on a map like Pillars of Gold. You can wall the queens across the map. We've seen players like Gogo Joey or Chem do that. Or we could just see a normal standard game.
Yeah, I mean, we could see the roach push if we were casting dark, but unfortunately, we are not.
Unfortunately, as we are getting into a 1-1-1, a pretty standard 1-1-1 by the looks of it, coming out here from Bunny.
So about the most standard, the most standard opening so far coming out from Bunny. No 3CC before starport. No whatever that Hellbat push was.
You're like, whatever that was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let us never speak of it again. God damn it.
Opting for Banshees this game.
Yeah, pretty interesting. Again, kind of old school, you know, not opting to go for anything like a BC, going for Banshees with Cloak.
And yeah, we're just gonna be waiting a little while for Cloak to finish up, for the Banshee to hit. Bunny trying to get some scouting done across the map here. Will confirm the third base timing.
Yeah, that he
and
does.
Just gonna meet up with the rest of the Hellions.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's just trying to deny as much creep as he can. Hopefully he doesn't get surrounded by these things. Oh my god.
Yeah, they already have speed, but it will be chased away.
Yeah, one of the Hellions almost went down. You want to keep that with as much health as possible. We'll see if... Oh.
Sorry.
Yeah?
You mentioned this earlier, Light, but yeah, DRG, he is deciding that this is the map, this is the game. He wants to go for the roaches.
Interesting. Very interesting. He also does have the lair on the way as well as his gases, so we'll see if he goes for like this big timing attack. That's typically what you want to do when you go for roaches, unless you're Dark of course. He revels with roaches in the late game. That's kind of what his style has become. He showed that off in Super Tournament as well.
He did.
Yeah.
Well, I think the idea behind Dark is he wants to sort of get the roaches as a buffer to get into his late game, but then a lot of times he also just uses them in the late game.
Like
DRG, I think he will be more the former. He will just be using them to hit and timing, and if that fails, then he'll just use it to defend or have a defense up to get him to the late game.
Yeah, definitely. Meanwhile, here come the Hellions and the Banshees. The Banshees look, and they do target down the high energy Queen.
No transfuse gonna be available for quite some time. The Spore did manage to borrow once again, so there is vision. Oh, it unborrows.
Yeah,
he's a little bit of a window here for Bunny.
Yeah, he's trying to slowly leapfrog forward the Spores, and as a result, he does lose a second Queen here. The Hellions are looking to try and get into that mineral line.
6 drones already going down. A lot of links starting to get shaved off. Another Queen looked to be in a bit of trouble, but no trouble at all.
Yeah, and I wonder if there was a tell there. So far, Bunny hasn't scouted the Roach Warren. He hasn't scouted like any of the tech whatsoever. And I don't believe he saw any roaches. But to be fair, he also didn't see any banelings. So again, this still looks pretty normal for DongRaeGu. So Bunny, he hasn't really caught wind of something a little bit different here from DRG. To be fair, DRG, he is expanding and taking a fourth. So yeah, he's just kind of being defensive with these roaches.
All right. Hopefully he doesn't stick to the roach stage for too long. I mean, as you mentioned, it's been demonstrated to not be very effective when you stick to Roach Ravager, but it's very good as a defensive army. Yeah,
and to be fair, like in the mid game, like you can hit a really nice timing where it doesn't matter if there's a siege line because you have those Ravagers to bile down those tanks and just push on forward with your Ling Roach. It is definitely possible for a DRG to make something happen. It's just a little bit, you know, it isn't as common, and we'll see if he's able to pull it off here against Bunny. Bunny, I don't believe he's scouted yet, but he should be now that he's going to be going for this multi-prong.
Yeah, he is. Will confirm the roaches. Doesn't quite know how dedicated, but DRG is going to be. Second drop coming in. Takes out a lot of drones at the sacrifice of a medevac. He's not careful to lose another one. I love the use of the choke point right now. DRG cannot get us around. Can't even get a concave. Will clean out this drop, but at the cost of 20 drones. Look at that worker difference.
It was 20 drones, and he killed the Queen as well. No anti-air whatsoever, so the medevac, he can just chill here. He's just continuing to drop and continues to deal more and more damage.
Forces the Spore to borrow and just gets right on out of there.
Oh my god.
Nicely done by Bunny.
Yeah, and now DRG,
he ups in, he ups out.
He has to do something with this timing. We do have Roach speed about to finish up as these Roaches and Ravagers pushing out across the map. Meanwhile, the Banshees do spot the army.
I tell you what, Light, DRG's on twice the army supply. As you said, if he gets the correct corrosive vials, then he should be able to deal with the tanks. Kind of wasting them a little bit on the Marines, but he is able to pounce right into the heart of this army. DRG looks like he might just qualify.
Exactly. It looks like he may. To be fair, this isn't a qualifying match.
No, it's a qualifying match. No, I kind of Freudian slip.
Yeah, it's all good.
Will make it to the qualifier.
Yeah, as the Roach Ravager is pushing through, killing every single tank. There's barely anything left here for Bunny, forced to evacuate the third base.
And to be fair, Bunny has traded very evenly with that army. He's finally back ahead in the army supply and about even in the worker supply. So yeah, DRG forced to retreat. Bunny, he's just getting ready for round 2.
Yeah, what's scary is that DRG, he lost a lot of workers, but he still has all 4 of his bases. Like, he's still got plenty of larva to work with. So this isn't the worst situation for him. Meanwhile, Bunny, he was forced to lift up. He did lose quite a number of SCVs. But as you were saying, if he goes for a counterattack, like, Bunny, yo, if he pushes out with his main army, he can deal a lot of damage.
He definitely can, but this is what we're talking about. He is a lot more cautious than some of the other Korean Terran players. He would much prefer to get a little bit of a scout and get a little bit of damage with this drop and then confirm whether or not he can push.
Yeah, definitely. Like, what I mean is, like, DRG, like, this is his entire army. Like, honestly, it's not looking very terrifying whatsoever, especially without any banelings. Would you see DRG, he's trying to transition, he does throw down a Spire, looking to go into mutas, and now that the Spire is done, there we go, 14 mutas are on the way.
And that's, I mean, decently potent, but again, as you said, mutas have a little bit of splash damage, but it is nothing compared to banelings.
Yeah, it's kind of scary if you're DRG, right? Like, he's committing everything into mutas. He doesn't have any Ling Bane to really buffer. He's relying on these Roaches and these Ravagers.
And so far, not getting too much of them. Will force a pickup, and that's where the mutas can really start to shine. But here's the rest of Bunny's army. Not even the rest of Bunny's army. He still has a lot of tanks and bio chilling back at home.
Exactly. To be fair, the majority of his Marines are across the map, so these tanks could be a little bit exposed if DRG decides to dive on them.
Instead, going for a little bit of a juicier target. Ooh, denying that missile turret. Very important there. Nice concave here from DRG. And Bunny continuing to hemorrhage workers.
Oh my god, these mutas, they go uncontested. There's a single missile turret here in the National. He does pick up another tank. There's barely any Marines here looking to try and keep up with these mutas.
And they are just going back and forth. Yeah, Bunny's getting out-buddied.
Yeah, just so much value with these mutas. So many tanks and SCVs went down. To be fair, DRG did lose his 4th base. Like, damage was done across the map.
Yeah, and in the end, Bunny is still trying to get his 4th base up and running. Not looking too bad economically. Now he's starting to be very far behind as
he doesn't care.
A lot of those SCVs are forced away off the... Yeah, a lot of them are forced off the mineral line, but Bunny, he knows that this was one chance to hit.
Exactly. Like, what is there on the ground? There's barely any Roach Ravager here. There's a decent amount of Lings, but again, mate, it's Stim to win. That's all you need to do. There's no Banelings here to stop you.
Not yet. Anyway, DRG trying to buy himself a little bit of time to get that Baneling Nest up and running, but Bunny not letting that happen.
Oh yeah, the Baneling Nest, it is just about to finish up. Meanwhile, a lot of the Lings have been shaved off, and even if the Baneling Nest does finish, oh, nice biles.
Yeah, pretty good biles, taking out a couple of those medevacs, forcing this bio to start to scatter. Yeah, DRG, he's got such a good position over here.
Yeah. He's going to be able to hold. I don't know if you noticed, but Bunny, he move commanded a little bit in the middle of that. Like, it was a little bit scary when he just ran towards the army, and now it looks like DRG just has too much.
Really starting to envelop this army. A lot of Bunnies. Oh.
Honestly, I thought we were going to see a GG.
Yeah, I saw PP, and I was like, oh. No, not quite yet.
Yeah. Oh, my God. As Bunny, he is asking for a bit of a pause. There's a bit of Korean coming out here. I don't know if there's anyone to translate, but it looks like whatever issue there was
resolved. And now a lot of Bunny supply is in these medevacs, literally and figuratively.
Oh god, and yeah, here's the force back. As all that was happening, the mutas did deny the 4th base of Bunny, so he's still stuck on 3 CCs, only just now remaking that 4th.
And now a couple of banelings, and I really think DRG can get a really well-rounded army out here.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
not quite enough to push yet, but getting there.
I would say enough to defend. Like there was a window of opportunity where Bunny could like abuse DRG a little bit, but now that the Baneling Nest is done, now that Baneling speed is on the way as well, it's gonna be so much more. It's gonna be so much easier for DRG to hold off on creep with even slow Banelings, and with that, Bunny, he is slowly falling behind. We do see DRG is getting up in terms of that supply.
And he's looking to make that last. Trying to muta harass as best he can. Continuing to make a couple of mutas here and there.
Yeah, still continuing to work on that muta count. Meanwhile, Bunny, he's stuck on 3 bases. He needs to try and expand, and unfortunately, he's not being active out on the map. So DRG, he's already working on his 5th.
Things are starting to turn around heavily for DRG.
Yeah, he's maxed out. He's looking to push into this army. Only 1 tank as the backbone, and it immediately goes down.
Just like so. But he's trying to go in for a flank. The Baneling speed just kicked in, but they are a little bit in the back line. This is a very nice position for Bunny to fight in. Nice and wide open, and when there's not really that much Lingbane, the Marine Marauder, once again, is good as a concave as possible.
Yeah, unfortunately, like DRG's army is a little bit awkward. So like the Roach Ravager, they're incredibly thick and they're in the way of the Banelings, so the Banelings can't get through them to the Marines. So eventually DRG does need to get rid of these Ravagers and go for that full transition into Lingbane Muta.
But the time is not quite yet. Chucking around with the mutas, seeing what damage can be done once more. Just really making sure that Bunny can't play comfortably. There is a Thor out now, and Bunny's doing a very nice job of sort of juggling it to make sure that it can continue to get the splash damage on top of the mutas. DRG not really going to be messing with that army for a little while.
Definitely, and something that I was curious about, +3 is actually already done for Bunny. We have +3 armor finishing up. Meanwhile, DRG, he's only just finished up +1 melee.
Huh. Well, he did decide to go for Roach Ravager at the start of this, so yeah, not too surprising. But if he wants to fight this, he cannot afford to do so. He has to wait. Look at that! Lingbane completely evaporated.
Exactly. Now we're just left with this Roach Ravager. To be fair, there is a decent amount of Banelings, so it's going to be difficult for Bunny to just continue to push across the map into creep. He has to be careful. He has to respect the Banelings.
He definitely does, but DRG doesn't really have much of a buffer available for those Banelings. He has so much less options when it comes to attacking this army of Bunny. And once again, the pendulum has swung.
That it has. It looks like DRG is trying to connect with this army. A lot of the Banelings do get decent connections.
But that's a power of +3 armor.
Exactly.
Versus +1 melee. Some more decent connections, but yeah, I feel like DRG kind of jumped the gun a little bit. He went very Lingbane heavy towards the end there, but didn't realize that he was only on +1 melee.
Yeah, his upgrades really hurting him there. And what doesn't help is the mutas were across the map. They were not a part of that main engagement. And with that, the base does fall for DRG.
That it does, and Bunny still continuing to press forward. Getting the rest of his bio ready. Doesn't have too many Marauders and doesn't really have any tanks, but you know what? He's got mines, he's got Thors. They can soak up a decent amount.
Yeah, DRG, he's just trying to desperately make as many Banelings as possible to just hold on. That's all he has to do here. Meanwhile, oh my god, he's actually going for a massive counterattack.
Yeah, trying to anyway, and this is a very exposed base.
Oh yeah, the tank's gonna go down. There's no reinforcements here, so it forces all the SCVs off the line.
Yeah, reinforcing Marines only now getting in there. But again, DRG being backed into a corner, starting to move in with his Realist, with his Lingbane. A lot of Banelings getting taken out just like so. but there's a lot of banelings, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly. There's so much Ling Bane, just enough to really clean up everything on the ground. Nice stutter step, though.
Yeah, really good stutter step, really good kiting coming up from Bunny. And now DRG doesn't have the massive economic advantage he once did.
Now he has run out of banelings. He only has 3 left, only just now morphing them in. So there's an opportunity here where Bunny can just continue to push on forward, abuse the fact that there's only 3 banelings left in this army. Oh, nice with a mine.
He is so starved. Pretty soon, if Bunny keeps this up, DRG is going to get into a position where he cannot afford to remake those banelings. Won't quite have as much gas.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll see if he's able to do so again. It looks like this next wave of banelings are going to finish up for DRG.
And that's great, but what about beyond this? Oh, we're getting so scrappy right now. Gets a little bit of friendly fire, though. And it seems like enough banelings survive to start taking out this army. Mutalisk to clean up everything else. DRG, is he going to go across the map right now? Can't go into those mines.
Oh my god, the mines, the Thor reinforcing as well. The mutas, there are not enough of them to really take this on. Or are there?
I feel like best case scenario right now for DRG is to try to get friendly fire with the mines. Just enough Mutalists here to take out that medevac at least. This Thor is kind of trapped, will be taken out. And just like that, DRG is back in a position of an advantage. This has been such a weird series, Light. It has gone so back and forth every game.
It has. DRG, he just barely held on. Now he can finally try and reestablish his hatcheries that he's lost. He's retaking his gases. He has a little bit of room to breathe to really get back into his macro because he's been oversaturated for so long. Like his bases have just been in shambles, essentially on 2-base economy. Meanwhile, kind of similar for Bunny. Like every single time he's tried to expand over here on the left-hand side, he just hasn't been able to the point where he's been forced to lift up his natural and pull it over.
Yeah, that's not really what you want as your bases get spread out further and further around the fringe. You really want some better defenses going on. DRG, once again, doesn't have the gas to make banelings.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, it's important to note as well that Bunny, he's actually only got 2 CCs, like because he's been forced to lift up his main and his natural, so he doesn't have that many mules, so his economy isn't, like, it can be a little bit deceiving looking to see how many bases he's on because his economy isn't anywhere near as good as it should be.
No, it is not. Even with the mules, he's getting a lot of minerals, but I mean, just look at the gas income.
Yeah, it's almost non-existent. He just only has 1 gas, literally 1 SCV mining gas right now.
But to be fair, like, Man with Gun OP.
Man with Gun is pretty good.
And they don't cost gas.
Oh, good. And we'll see if Bunny is able to make something happen with these drops. You know, he's finding a couple of overlords here and there, which is quite nice. Again, it looks like DRG hasn't really found an opportunity to go across the map with his Ling Bane.
See, I am also curious to see if Bunny will be able to get much done with his drops, but I'm even more curious to see if DRG gets +2 melee.
He hasn't started and he's still only got +1. Where's Evo sniped?
Yes, he's very... Whoa,
he doesn't have any Evos.
He doesn't have any Evos.
Wow.
And to be fair, he doesn't have a lot of gas either, so maybe he's just thinking, okay, that's going to be too expensive for me to get right now. I want my gas to be making banelings. I want it to be making, you know, actual units that I can use.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it before. This is so scrappy. Like he just, I don't think he just doesn't notice that he doesn't have Evos.
It's possible.
He just assumes he's got his upgrades, and that could be his downfall.
It very much could. Because again, Bunny, he got 3-3 a long time ago. He does not need to worry about that for the rest of the game, really.
What he does have to worry about is this Ling Bane.
Yeah, they're starting to move in, and there is detection now in the form of the Overseer. The Overseer can get sniped. Okay, not quite. This is a maxed out, or was almost a maxed out army for DRG, but the positioning for Bunny was good enough, was able to take that engagement. Not enough banelings here, not enough upgrades. Will the Mutas be able to clean this out? It does not look likely.
Wow, the splits of Bunny were amazing. The Ling Bane just couldn't get the connections they needed. They couldn't deal with the Marauders and the Thors trading inefficiently, even losing a couple of Mutas. And now Bunny, suddenly everything is just swung in his favor. He can now push on forward with that 3-3 upgrade advantage. And DRG, mate, again, I don't think he's noticed. He's only got +1. He doesn't even have 3 armor.
That he does not. Does he even have Hive?
No,
he
does have Hive.
Pit a while ago. Okay,
Yeah.
yes, Hive.
Just, he hasn't been able to use it for anything. He doesn't have the Evas. Oh god.
Yeah, but a bit of a questionable push out by DRG earlier. So Bunny, just as a counterattack, will be able to take this. Will be going on to the qualifying match, if I'm not mistaken. I have a few questions.
GG Bunny with the 2-1 over DongRaeGu does knock him out of the qualifiers, and as you said, Bunny advances to a qualifying match.
Going up to face Maru in a TVT, as it looks like Trap took out Maru 3-0 in that upper bracket qualifier.
Wow, and it looks like with that, I think you were going to go into it. We have our 4 qualifying players from the upper bracket.
That we do. We have Stats taking out Innovation in a close 3-2 series. We have, of course, Parting, which we covered here, 3-0 against TY. Solar taking out Nice 3-1, and Trap taking out Maru 3-0. Right now in the lower bracket, there is TY versus Rogue going on, and so far, Rogue up 1 in that best of 5 qualifier. All right, we need to figure out how we're gonna be splitting these series up now.
Well, the easiest thing to do is to just follow Bunny into his TVT series against Maru. I'm not too sure if... Okay, so it looks like Rotterdam and Wardy, we were all in the same series, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, so we could just back off from this and try and look for another series. It looks like Renegade is going to jump into Ragnarok versus Cure. The winner of that will go up against Nice, so it's really cool of him to do that, so he's willing to wait a little bit for that series to start up. If we wish, we could wait for TY and Rogue to get out of game, to potentially just jump into one game if Rogue is up 2-0.